Welcome to Ghostly.
Is Denver International Airport haunted?
Ghostly is a podcast that comes out every other week. In each episode, we take a ghost story or a paranormal event, look into its complete history. This whole month, we've been weekly and we've been doing airport episodes. So if you're into haunted airports, check out the last couple.
Who isn't?
Rebecca, yeah, exactly. Rebecca gives us evidence proving that the story is real. And my job is to debate those pieces of evidence and you, the listener, prepared to vote on if it's real or not. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. And as always, we're your host. I'm Pat.
And I'm Rebecca.
All right. So as this is our last airport episode, we have a very special guest here. In fact, there's nobody that knows more about this kind of stuff than Mr. Jack Chavez. Jack, welcome back to Ghostly.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you having me back. It's always a great time to do the podcast. So yeah,
we love having you on. I just want to say though that you are at Starbucks, so people might hear some background noises. You might hear me asking for a cold brew or something like that. Even though I'm not there, I just love cold brew. So.
Yeah. And
right.
Jack, we're excited to have you because this particular episode is a little different than our regular ghostly content. And I know that having you on, you're going to be able to provide much more insight into the spooky than better I can. So,
well, that's why I'm really glad that you guys asked me to do this one because it's kind of like outside the norm of what you guys tend to do, right?
Right.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
So I was pretty excited about it, and I'm just glad to be here.
Awesome.
Well, you were the inspiration behind us doing haunted airports in October this time because we were talking to you about it and we're like, wait, we could do this and you would be for the best episode here. I'm sorry, other people that were guests, but this is the one we've been waiting for.
Who did you have on as a guest besides me?
We had Scott, we had my friend Nick Mataragas, which I don't know if you've met him before.
I have.
Oh, you have? Okay. I'm sorry.
It's Southside Podfest, all that. Been all that.
I'm sorry you had to meet him.
And then we had Anthony, who is our guest who has seen Resurrection Mary. So he's my favorite. I'm sorry, as far as the ghosty ones go. But so we've had a lot of fun this month, but we saved the best for last, which is Denver International Airport. So
yeah, absolutely.
You know what? I don't know any of those names. I guess I am the best one. Jeez.
And there you go. Exactly. Right.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
This has actually turned out to be my favorite airport. Like after doing some research of it, because they play along, and I love that about them. Rebecca, you have any thoughts about Denver Airport to start us off?
Well, there's just a lot going on there, and I couldn't really find too many ghost stories. I mean, there's a few things people talk about, but for the most part, it's kind of all of the other things. It's aliens, it's lizard people, it's creepy art, underground tunnels, the Illuminati, like all of the other things. And so it really just covers so much. So I'm really excited.
It's a great recipe, except for ghosts, right?
Right.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But definitely paranormal.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I've been to Denver Airport. Rebecca, you have not, right?
I have not been to Denver Airport. Have you been, Jack?
I haven't actually. No.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm the only one with experience here. So that starts me off good, I guess. All right. So we have a listener mail, and we want you to hear this one too. We waited to do this one till you were on because we want your opinion on this one too.
Yes. Okay, so this is from a listener, Dave, and he writes, hey, I don't know if this counts as paranormal or ghostly, but I'll let you decide. You can use it on your show if you want. So thank you, Dave. So let me start by saying I'm playing catch up. I started on episode 1 and currently finishing up the Sausage King episode 73, which is a great shout out, great episode.
Yeah,
people should check it out. So pretty much I listen to one episode while I drive. I tend to find myself, I find myself on about 80% on Pat's side.
I
Sometimes the
mean,
evidence
we all do. We all typically do.
it
So,
just isn't there for me. All right, but here we go. So the other night, I'm at my girlfriend's house. After eating dinner, we're just relaxing on the couch. At this point, I'm really tired. We go up to bed. Now, I'm usually good for remembering dreams. So for the dream, just rough details. I'm in this house. It appears I bought it, but in the house is a friendly spirit. It's my friend's grandma, who is still alive and who I've never talked to. I just know of her. Well, fast forward. In the dream, I'm in my girlfriend's bed with her. She wakes up to goes to the bathroom. I hear her talking, and when I tried to wake up, I felt something holding me down. I couldn't move my body. Felt like I something was holding me down by the shoulders as if you're sitting down on the couch and someone gave you a hug from behind. Worst of all, I could hear something heavily breathing in my right ear, not through the mouth, but through the nose. I went immediately to praying, and after some 30 seconds, I ended up waking up. I don't know if this is that sleep paralysis. Am I listening to ghostly too much and this is just my mind playing tricks?
There's
I
no
don't
such
watch.
thing as listening to ghostly too much.
I right
no, I was going
exactly.
to say that is definitely not true. You need to
Not
listen to
the
more
issue.
Ghostly.
Exactly.
Yeah, more
Uh,
Ghostly.
I don't watch horror movies and I don't really care for Halloween season slash holiday. Just
What?
want to see what you guys think. Was this a sleep paralysis situation or just my mind playing tricks?
Yeah. So, Jack, what are your thoughts on this?
It's one of those things that when you're in that state of you're about to go to sleep, your mind plays all sorts of tricks on you.
Hmm.
You could
Yeah,
easily see
absolutely.
shadow people. You could easily, hear things. I'm gonna have to give this one a one.
One.
Wow.
Well, actually, so for me, there is evidence that says that you can be sleeping and get that paralyzed feeling. That is something that, I mean, they study this all the time. So it is something real. It's not ghostly though, but it is a real thing. It is so I mean, I know it's probably happening to him, and I feel bad for him. But no, it's not a ghost. It's just your body doing weird things, and that's our bodies do weird things all the time. So,
I think the weirdness for
Rebecca,
me
what are
is
your
just,
thoughts?
yeah, it's just the weird breathing in the ear is the only thing that's a little odd for me. Otherwise, yeah, it does sound a lot like sleep paralysis, though. I
Yeah.
mean, what causes sleep paralysis? I mean, there's definitely some biological things, but could be others.
Yes.
But if it's not something that regularly happens to you, like you're not seeing other spirits or things, then it's probably, I agree, not
Yeah.
anything to worry about.
Sure.
We'll just say that.
So we want to hear your stories. So especially Jack, you need to send in a story because I'm sure you got a couple of stories that you could send us. You could email us at info@ghostlypodcast.com or use the contact us form right on ghostlypodcast.com. Or our favorite way is to get snail mail. We don't check the mailbox very often, but when we do, it's always exciting to see something in there from a listener.
Yep. And you can find all that information on ghostlypodcast.com right at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, and I also want to.
How often do you guys do get snail mail?
Oh, probably
Probably a
once
few.
a month or so. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we'll check
exciting.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we love to, and some of them are just like, hey, little card or whatever. It's
Yeah.
always necessarily something we'd share on the podcast.
Oh, that's
And you
great.
can always like say, I'd rather you not share this, or if you just want to send us something, but if you've got a story and you want to send it that way, we're happy to
I
get it.
mean, we have had some really big stories and family members of the people write in and tell us not to share it, but they wanted to give us a heads up. And the names match, and it's the real deal. And it is really weird and cool when,
That's awesome.
yeah. I mean, if I told you the specific example, you would probably freak out. It's that good, but yeah.
We'll do it after the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I just want to remind everyone to go vote in the polls. I mean, this is your chance to get your voice heard. Are ghosts real? Is these airports haunted? Or is it just a lot of, what is it that Nick said last time? Hookum? Is it a lot of hookum? Yeah. I think he
I
said
don't know.
hookum.
He probably did.
Yeah.
For, as we always do, every October, we leave the polls open all month long. So we're
Yeah.
not giving any results yet. We're going to do that in November. So you can still vote on all of our previous episodes that we've talked about. Hawaii, O'Hare, Fresno, and now Denver. So be sure to get out there
And
and
this is
vote.
way better than voting for a presidential candidate.
Yeah, right. Much. Yes, this is the vote, right? Yeah. So no,
Well,
we
your
want
odds are a
everyone to
lot better
vote.
too. Your
Yeah,
odds are a lot
exactly.
better too, because there's not as
While
many
you're in the
people.
voting mood, right? Go vote for
Yeah.
this. Yeah, exactly.
This is actually more important than
the future. All right, so we're gonna actually skip the ghost story this episode because we just have so much to talk about that we just want to get right into it.
Yeah. So we're going to take a short break, and when we return, we're going to get to the history.
Facts. From a skeptic point of view. Facts. He presents it all to you. Facts.
All right. So I have some history for you guys. Are you guys ready for the Pat Facts?
Pat Facts.
I always have to wait for Rebecca to say that. So Denver's central location made it a prime spot for air travel. And for decades, its Stapleton International Airport was a bustling hub for airlines like United and Continental. But by the 60s, it was by the 60s, it was the sixth busiest airport in the country. But Stapleton's growth was limited by its cramped space and closed set runways. This often led to delays and even nationwide travel disruptions, especially when the weather turned bad, which often can happen there. So in the early 1980s, Denver was searching for a new airport to replace its aging Stapleton. While some explored options further north and east, the then mayor, Federico Pena, had a had a bolder idea. Anyways, expand Stapleton onto the former, onto the former Rocky Mountain Arsenal. This plan gained widespread support, but faced opposition from neighboring Adams County, who voiced concerns about increased noise levels, as one would do. People don't want
that
airports.
Around here with O'Hare. They're always trying to expand it, and the neighbors get all upset. So, understandably.
So Pena eventually made a deal with Adams County. If they supported Denver's annexing a large chunk of their land, the city would build a new airport away from residential area. And in 1988, so this is pretty recent, the county's voters approved the plan, despite some skepticism about the airport's distance from downtown Denver. It is pretty far. It is a good half-hour ride to get to the city proper. Recognizing the importance of a major Denver airport to national transportation, the federal government contributed a significant sum to the project, and the rest of the funding would come from bonds paid off by airline fees. Construction then began in September of 1989 and probably went really smoothly. No, actually, it didn't. It didn't go smoothly at all. Construction delays pushed. No, it never does, right? Construction delays pushed opening day back first to December 1993, then to March 1994. By September of 1993, delays due to a millwright strike and other events meant that opening day was pushed back again to May 1994. In April 1994, the city invited reporters to observe. This is one of my favorite parts of this whole story. They invited reporters to observe the first test of the new automated baggage system. It was supposed to be state of the art. Reporters were treated to scenes of clothing and other personal effects scattered beneath the system's trays, tracks, and carts that would often toss the luggage right off the system. And after the embarrassing preview, the mayor canceled the planned May opening then because they couldn't get their baggage right. Now, nowadays, they actually have people that do it. They don't rely on the system that they abandoned in 2005. So for 10 years, they kept trying. Denver Airport finally opened its doors in February of 1995, replacing Stapleton. The project was significantly delayed and over budget, costing nearly $2 billion more than original estimates.
Whoa.
Yeah, that is a lot of money. One of the first pieces of public art commissioned for Denver International Airport, this is what everybody loves to talk about with this, was the iconic Blue Mustang by artist Luis Jimenez. This towering 32-foot tall sculpture of a bright blue horse with glowing, it's supposed to be orange eyes, but it's actually red eyes, greets travelers as they approach the airport. The reason why it's got the blue and the orange is because of the Broncos that play there. It's a striking landmark and a testament to Colorado's Western heritage. But Jimenez was killed during the process of making this. In 2006, at age 65, while creating the sculpture, when a part of it fell on him and severed an artery in his leg. And at the time of his death, Jimenez had completed painting the head of the Mustang only. So Blue Mustang was completed by others and unveiled at the airport on February 11th, 2008. The statue has been the subject of considerable controversy and has acquired the nickname of Lucifer for its demonic appearance. So Blue Lucifer.
Yeah, we'll definitely be coming back to Lucifer.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. Yeah, I'm
when
sure
we
we
get
will.
to our debate. Yeah.
So the airport has a lot of unique art. It has unusual architecture and constructions. The setbacks fueled a wave of conspiracy theories shortly after its opening. With the rise of the internet and media coverage, these theories gained momentum, reaching a wider audience through TV shows like Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura, the wrestler, and annual news reports. Airport administration decided to embrace the conspiracy, which I love. I love when people do this. Instead of trying to fight it, they just embraced it. In 2016, a small conspiracy theories uncovered exhibition was installed in the terminal, explaining some of the more popular theories. In 2019, an animatronic gargoyle named Gregorian, or Greg for short, then randomly makes statements such as, "Welcome to Illuminati headquarters." It was installed. Some took offense to the gargoyle, claiming it was satanic, which gargoyles are not satanic. So the gargoyle was removed and replaced with a more muted version. Other gargoyle statues sitting on open suitcases are in the baggage claim area. In April 2019, this is another part that I love. The Roswell International Air Center and Denver International Airport became supernatural sister airports. In the agreement, they would work together to enhance industry best practices that involved commerce, trade, and tourism. It also includes a clause that they would share strategies for extraterrestrial combat.
Okay.
So that is what I have for history. It is not that old. It opened up in 1995, which now makes it like almost 30 years old. Then, Jesus, that happened quick. But yeah. So I was there one time going to a convention in the area, and I will tell you, it is a significant hike from the airport to Denver proper.
Well, and I think it's a very big airport too, right?
Yeah.
A pretty large
Yes,
size.
it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the conspiracy theories with it, right? Is just the sheer size of it. People are saying like, why would you put an airport so far away from the city, and make it so big when when it's not necessary. It's not as it shouldn't be as big as it is being so far from the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say that earlier. Yeah, that's definitely a big part of the reasoning is why the conspiracy started immediately because it was, hey, why are you building this like so far away from everything?
And it goes into the idea that there is these underground tunnels, right?
Yeah.
And underground tunnels, and that's why like they say that it's so far away from the city and it's so big is because it's basically the surface level of an underground civilization. And if you really want to get some woo-woo in here, this underground
Oh, we're gonna
tunnels.
we're going to get there, Jack. No, it's okay. I don't want to, I want to make sure we save it for our debate, right? But yes, that is I think that's good to think about, right? That's kind of like where all of this, no, you're good. It's so exciting to talk about. So I don't want to cut you off, but I promise we will get to it. Yeah. So I think, I think we should do it. Let's take a break and then we're going to come right back and,
well, actually, I have a question for Jack.
Ooh,
so we're going to go back to the O'Hare Airport episode that we did. And because there was one part that we left out, there is a Mothman sighting there, right? There are several Mothman sightings, Jack.
At O'Hare?
There's allegedly, several Mothman sightings from workers there. From security and then the dock workers.
Wow.
I emphasize the allegedly because as you
well, I'm
guys
sure
probably
Bob's been there.
What's that?
I'm sure Bob's been there at least once,
Right, yes. That's right, yes.
Yeah. So that's why they saw him. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but these sightings by O'Hare or the Chicago Mothman in general, they really have no weight to them.
Okay.
We don't know who these witnesses are. We don't know any of their names. I mean, we're talking dozens and dozens of witnesses, and we know nothing about these witnesses. All these witnesses, they're being filtered through one single website. It's very suspicious.
Gotcha.
So I don't, also I did have a family member at that time that was working at O'Hare Airport. And I asked him, I go, hey, is any of the workers like talking? Are they saying anything?
Right.
And he's like, man, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So
okay.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you about it because we weren't prepared to talk about Mothman during that particular time. But I know that there has been sightings, and actually, speaking of Bob had a Mothman sighting. I don't know if he's ever told you about that, Jack, but he.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That
So that is weird. He saw
Thornton.
himself. Yeah.
No. It was opposite direction.
Oh, really? Okay.
Bob saw it by Thornton, Illinois, which
Okay.
is far south.
Okay.
It's south of Chicago, actually.
Yeah. Not by O'Hare. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to take a short break. And when we return, Rebecca, I think, has some evidence or something, which actually is kind of interesting because
I don't know where this is going to go.
I don't know either, because I am more the believer in UFOs and stuff. And this is UFO centric here. I also am more willing to believe a cryptid than a ghost, except I will not believe the praying mantis man because he wears overalls. That to me, just right there, it ruined the whole thing for me. But we're going to take a break, and when we return, Rebecca is going to give us the evidence.
Okay.
right. So Rebecca, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right.
Let's get into it. So I we'll see, I break it down as best I can, kind of grouping things together. And then so Jack, I'm going to talk about it and then I'm going to let you add whatever to it that you have. Okay. So let's start with the theory, conspiracy, whatever theory, that Denver International Airport is part of a secret society. Right? So the Freemasons, the Illuminati, New World Order, that's a whole, thing. And here's the thing, just as a real quick aside, Pat and I did a whole series of episodes on our Patreon-only podcast, Ghostly X, all about secret societies. So if you want to hear more about Freemasons and Illuminati and all of that, go listen to those. But here's the evidence that people mention, is that there's a time capsule. I call it a capstone that's buried at the south entrance. And it was buried there in March of 1994. And it's sealed beneath the stone is a time capsule containing, quote, messages and memorabilia to the people of Colorado in 2094. So it'll be a while till that's opened. But the granite marker for it. Say it again.
I'll be alive for it.
You will.
Yes, you'll be here.
You are a vampire slayer, so maybe you have some of the vampire gene in you.
I'm like Blade. I have. I'm a hybrid.
There you go.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. But marking this capsule is a granite marker that depicts the square and compass symbol of the Freemason and names two of the Grand Lodges and their Grand Masters. The capstone also makes mention of a group called the New World Airport Commission that doesn't seem to exist anywhere that anyone knows. And there is a theory that the Braille tablet above the dedication stone is actually a keypad, and that if you touch the raised dots in the correct sequence, you'll be able to open the time capsule. And some of the Masons have even actually gone there and tried to get in with their stuff. That's what I read. So that I don't know about. That's going a step far. But what have you heard, Jack, as far as any of the Illuminati, Masons, that kind of stuff with the airport?
Well, first of all, the Freemasons and Illuminati are two totally different, conspiracy theories.
They are totally different, but they're kind of related.
Yeah, but I don't know if they would be working with each other, right?
Yeah.
So
what we learned though is everything starts with the Freemason, and then you're like, well, they're very similar to the Freemasons. So everything is compared to the Freemasons for some reason when it comes to secret societies.
Well, that's the problem with there being secret societies, is that because they're secret, we don't know too much about them, and we don't know if one secret society is working with another secret society, because we don't even know enough about their beliefs.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Would they even be getting along? But yes, we do know that the Freemasons for sure did was part of the opening of the airport, and they did help, do some of the funding, some of the fundraising for it, and that's why the compass, the Freemason symbol, is on that plaque right there.
Yeah.
But the Freemasons, they're a charitable organization. I do think that the Freemasons were much more powerful a couple centuries ago. Obviously, George Washington and a bunch of other founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, were Freemasons. But then, that's a whole other podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, which we've done already. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So go watch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sign up for Patreon. Go sleep. So the Freemasons were, but that doesn't mean that anything diabolical took place. It's just that the Freemasons were part of the opening reception. They helped fundraising. The Illuminati are not mentioned at all. The Illuminati, may or may not even exist anymore. We don't know.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to say that the Illuminati are connected to the airports. One of the other conspiracy theories is that, the opening was March 19th, 1994. If you set up 1994, 19, it adds up to 33, and 33 is the highest level of Freemasonry.
Yeah.
They say, oh, well, that was done on purpose because of the Freemasons. Well, yeah, it could have been, but that doesn't mean it's diabolical.
It doesn't mean anything. Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the New World Order, all of them have one thing in common. They are primarily made up of old white men. Old white men getting together don't cause supernatural things to happen. They cause bad hate to happen. That's what they cause to happen. So I'm gonna
little pushback
okay,
because I am in the paranormal. So a bunch of people, whatever they are, together will create some magic, occultism. I mean, there are secret societies out there.
Well, I was Druid. I was Druid, so I am very familiar with spellcraft and all of that. And I could tell you that this spellcraft is merely prayer. Well, it is just a different way to pray.
Sure.
So
I am going to add another part of this now that we're kind of getting into it, right? So the other piece that and we're going to talk about the tunnels in next, but part of this concept is that supposedly the Masons, whoever the groups are, this is just one theory, is that they did this so that they would have a bunker space where they could go to ride out the apocalypse
and do
whatever.
Their old white man stuff that they
do. Exactly.
But which is probably drinking and smoking cigars. That's what I'm going to say.
But it seems weird to me. Like, it does seem weird to me. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I don't know. It's not paranormal necessarily, but it is weird that the Masons are funding an airport, or a memory thing for the airport. We don't know what's in this.
It's not weird. It's not weird when you think of, where they started and what a lot of their members, were responsible for. Freemasons were actual people that laid Mason down. That's what they did before. So they still continue to help in buildings and stuff.
I don't know.
But they do it to get that little symbol on them. That's what they do. It's all propaganda.
The Freemasons are part of a lot of opening ceremonies.
Oh, okay.
They do open a lot. There's buildings even downtown around here that have the Freemason symbol because they were, and not necessarily that they helped build it, because the Freemasons, they're not so much into masonry these days anymore. It's a lot more charitable work and a lot more fundraising nowadays. So, it's not too strange for them to be part of, the opening of a airport, especially, like I said, this is over 30 years ago now. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes. And they had a little bit more tools back then. So, you could still see it.
Yeah. But I don't think that this is anything supernatural. So I'm going to say 0 on this one.
Okay. So I was going to say, what's our debate here? So is this supernatural, right? Because it's not really haunted. I know I did that as our question, but it's really kind of is it paranormal, right? And so we're saying you're saying 0, no to paranormal. Jack, how about for you?
0, yeah.
I'm going to say 0 as well. I don't think it's paranormal. I think it's weird, but I don't think it's paranormal.
Wow.
No. Yeah. Now.
Okay. I've never heard you give a 0.
I've given a 0 before. When it comes to this kind of stuff, it totally happens. All right, let's move on, though.
Episode.
It is a crazy episode, right? What's happening? Cats and dogs living together. Okay, so let's talk about those underground bunkers and tunnels, though, right? Yes. So again, the idea is that the legend, the theory, right, is that those tunnels underneath, which you talked about, they were built supposedly, right, for the luggage, right, all of that, but that supposedly there's layers of them and that they reach all the way back to Denver or out to Colorado Springs. And so they claim that I don't know. There's a lot of claims, right? So again, I mentioned writing out the apocalypse. Others claim that it's more supernatural, that it's either extraterrestrials that live down there or lizard people. So Jack, what do you know about lizard people and potentially living or extraterrestrials.
Well, first of all, one of the reasons why there was supposed to be underground tunnels is because they were having the baggage go through those tunnels.
Yeah, right.
But it didn't work out. As Pat mentioned earlier, like that system, it just it broke down and stuff. It wasn't reliable, so they just kind of abandoned those tunnels.
Yeah.
But yeah, the conspiracy theory is that the tunnels were it was kind of a not only a bunker for the elites to go when the apocalypse happens or World War III happens, but it was also, kind of a joint alliance between humans and these reptilians.
Yeah.
And the goal was, some nefarious conspiracy theory type goal there. Reptilians are often associated with underground bases. The Dulles Air Force Base. That's a big one. Mount Shasta in California. They allegedly live there. There's a reptilian civilization within those mountains. I am not against the idea of reptilians existing. I mean, we have reports going back to the 1800s with miners encountering reptilian creatures. We have people that are abducted by reptilian beings. So, I think there might be some credence, but for the Denver airport, I don't know. I just don't really see it for there. There's nothing that says that there's some sort of, malevolence taking place.
Yeah.
Well, my thing about this is that why are these lizard people going to the driest climates on Earth? Denver, California. It's like, why are they going there and not like Hawaii or going over to Florida or something like that, where there's a lot of moisture in the air? They like moisture, right?
Well,
I don't know.
There's desert lizards, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there is, but they still need water, though.
Yeah.
So, okay, all right.
Another thing with those underground tunnels, though, is that there's actually pictures that you could find online where people will draw aliens on the walls.
Yes.
Just alphabets that are like indecipherable.
Nice.
I mean, allegedly, it's like workers that are doing it, possibly.
Yeah.
But it's just funny anyway,
Yeah.
You see all these things, it's all this graffiti on the walls and stuff. I mean, it would have to be workers because theoretically
nobody else has access.
Yeah, nobody else has access. So
right.
Well,
and
okay.
I was just gonna mention really quick. I just saw one picture, so so that's why I'm just gonna ask real quick. I just saw one picture of somebody saying like a UFO sighting at this airport, that would maybe indicate that there were extraterrestrials living there, but that was it. Like I was surprised that I didn't find more evidence of extraterrestrials.
But even if that was the case, even if I'm sure there has been UFO. I didn't come across that, but I'm sure there has been UFO reports in that area. But UFOs are seen, at most airports. I mean, they're seen right here in Air Airport in Chicago, Midway Airport in Chicago. UFOs, the beings that are piloting them, they seem to be very curious about our technology, about our travel, the way we travel and stuff. So
because it's so primitive.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not an indication that they're like living in tunnels underneath.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All
right. Well, what I'm going to say though is that so it's not uncommon for cities to have these underground tunnels. In fact, if you take Chicago, we have lower Wacker Drive and lower Wacker Drive. So we have a whole city underneath our city as well. And New York, one of the best examples of it, they have buildings down there too. A lot of times the unhoused people would find ways in there and they would live there. And I saw this video where this guy was living down there for like 4 years. And he had his own little house. He had a TV. He had a bunch of stuff in there. Probably not internet connection, though, I'm imagining, because it's lower. But, so a lot of places have these kind of tunnels. And if every one of them had a bunch of lizard people and a bunch of these aliens, I don't think that I think they would outnumber us then. So I'm gonna have to. Sadly, I'm gonna do 1 on this one, just because I love the idea, the concept of aliens and I guess lizard people, as long as they're not wearing overcoats or whatever the praying mantis man was wearing, the overalls. As long as they're not wearing that, I can buy it.
I'm gonna give it a 3 because,
Okay.
like I said, I'm not totally opposed to it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really much to say in terms of the Denver airport that there's reptilians underneath, but for a lot of airports, or I should say a lot of underground bases, there might be something happening between some sort of an alliance with these underground beings and humanity, and also they don't wear overalls, but they tend to wear these shiny,
jumpsuits.
Yeah, these shiny jumpsuits.
Okay.
Oh my God! No.
Yes.
I am against cryptids wearing any kind of clothes. That bothers me for some reason.
It's a little
I draw the
perverted,
line
Pat.
there.
It's a little. I don't know that I want them wearing clothes. Yeah, I think that I prefer that. So
reptiles, you would imagine that they would be really hot in clothes.
Yeah,
right?
True.
Yeah,
true.
definitely.
True.
Yeah. Huh. All right. So Rebecca, what are you giving this then?
So I'm gonna actually give it a 4.
A 4.
Because I do
Okay.
think it's weird that there's all these tunnels down there. And again, we
Yeah.
may not know the exact purpose of all of these tunnels, but I do think, man, that's a lot of money to spend on something, and to dig and to do all that work. And I understand the baggage thing that they obviously didn't really work that hard on because it didn't even work, it just, seems a little weird.
Also, too,
it's confirmed that it's 2 miles of tunnels. So it's like,
right.
Okay, their baggage is not that big.
Yeah,
So
right.
You're right, Rebecca. It's like, what are they doing with all this underground? It's very odd.
It's just a lot.
Well, I grew up by Fort City Mall, and Fort City Mall has a big underground too, where actually the police would store like stolen bicycles, and they would ride like a bike to get to the bikes because that's how big it was.
Wow.
So it's not uncommon for me. This is like where I grew up. It's fine. I have no issue with that
I
at all.
don't know. I don't know. All right.
And I grew up around there too, and I tried getting in when I was a kid. I would ask security, but I never found anybody that even had access. So I don't know.
Oh, see, so we don't.
I was in there once.
Oh yeah, we just keep bikes down there. That's all. Seems like a big place to just keep some bicycles. Okay.
I was in there one time, and it was accidental. I got on the elevator at like the wrong time, and I was being a kid and I wasn't paying attention, and I was trying to go with what they called at the time Peacock Alley, which was lower than Fort City, but it wasn't quite as low. And the elevator kept going, and the elevator doors opened up, and there was a bunch of police officers there, and I was like, I'm not supposed to be here, so I went back up.
Oh, that's awesome,
it was really weird though.
Really weird. Super weird. All right, let's keep moving on. Now we've got just the last 3 things here are different pieces of art that are around that people are weirded out by. So we have a pair of 28-foot wide murals by artist Leo Tanguma. So there's these 2 murals. It's called The Children of the World Dream of Peace. And one section of it shows scenes of war and death, anchored by a gas-masked soldier wielding both a sword and a machine gun, while the other depicts happy children from around the globe dressed in colorful traditional clothing, laying down their weapons beneath a rainbow of peace. And then another section in Peace and Harmony with Nature shows children mourning the death of 3 women and the extinction of numerous animals as the environment burns in the background. While
geez.
another section of the mural illustrates the children of the world coming together to rehabilitation and celebrate nature. So the pieces purportedly express the artist's hopeful desire for the people of the world to live in peace with one another and in harmony with nature, but others have been more focused on the anti-themes of war, death, pollution, and environmental destruction, even claiming that the artworks contain clues and messages about the apocalypse and the inevitable rise of a totalitarian world government. I read a lot of people posting online just about like as kids, or just people visiting, just how creepy it made them. It was to see that. I mean, it just really vivid imagery, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Jack, what did you see anything about that, or have you heard anything about it?
Yeah, people think that it's a prophetic painting, that
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of announcing the next world war. It can be, but again, I don't think it's necessarily prophetic. I mean, the artist himself, he wasn't wasn't like a psychic or anything. He was just commissioned to do this artwork, and he actually talks about how it's supposed to represent peace, that there's a lot of strife in the world, there's a lot of war, and it's that at the end goal though is giving up violence for peace. I gotta be honest, like I don't really understand the creepiness of this painting, because I just think it's a beautiful painting, and I get the message. I feel like this is one of those cases that are, people are just being a little bit too hysterical with this one.
Yeah.
Well,
also they thought some of his murals too represented Nazism, so they were big on that, and they found out they actually came as far as to say the runway arrangements had swastikas in it, but then an aerial shot of it shows that it doesn't. So
it's swastika like
ish, yeah.
But I mean it's interpretive of the swastika.
You got to really look for it.
So the reason why it's that shape is because if there's high winds, they have the airplane go in a different direction. Which
that's
totally
interesting.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, as far as prophesizing anything, I guess we'd have to wait until the Third World War and our imminent demise to tell if this is true or not. So we will get back to you at that point.
2099, right? That's when
something like that. I'm gonna be here for sure. I got a kidney that's gonna last me 100 years at least. So I'm gonna say I don't believe this at all. I'm gonna go 0 on this one. I'm sorry, Rebecca.
I'll give it a 2 for me. Like I think it's a little weird. It's a little weird. It's a weird thing to put in your airport. I think I get why it unsettles people. But I don't know, if it's paranormal. I may be adding it up with the others that we talk about, though. I guess we'll see. How about for you, Jack? What do you think for this?
Are you guys familiar with the doctor who went public, and he said that they used to do these when the airport first opened, there was this underground like travel system, and like this like trolley where you would get into, but that system it wasn't working. So they had to take an alternative route underground. And when they took the alternative route, there were other paintings, like other prophetic apocalyptic paintings that were underground.
Yes.
And he goes, well, if the underground wasn't supposed to be in use, and if this pathway was never supposed to be in use, then why are all these paintings there? And
because they're hoarding them.
The idea is that like, okay, is this the path that the elite were going to take if if another apocalypse were to happen?
Yeah. It seems weird to put all that down there. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
that is weird.
The more the upstairs painting that we were just discussing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give that probably a 0, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But the other paintings, I don't know. I'm
that
going with a
leads.
5.
Yeah.
I'd have to
that
see those
definitely.
paintings, though. I'd have to see these
Yeah, I
paintings.
don't know if
I'm not.
anyone took pictures of them. I don't know.
I don't trust randos, so I'm not gonna trust this
Well,
I
person
understand. That's
that.
why I'm out of 5.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, and I did read this account that honestly, like there was no indication. I couldn't tell if it was like someone making it up or like someone saying this really happened to them. But it was a little bit like that where they like got on the wrong train to get and they got off in the wrong area. It was a worker and he had to go back a different way and then he like saw weird things happening, whatever. Anyways,
it's an engineer. There was an
yeah.
engineer that said that he went like the wrong way, and that
Hmm.
allegedly he encountered these non-human entities,
Yeah.
and then he just kind of backed off real quick and went back to the route that he was supposed to go on.
Right. And he was just like, I'm really
Okay.
glad I got out, Yeah. I just, like I said, I couldn't tell, like, did someone write this as like fiction or are they claiming that this happened? And so I didn't put it in because I was like, I don't know. All right, let's keep going with our artwork. So another artwork that has raised eyebrows is Alex Sweetman's Art Chronicles, which is a photographic series that it documented the construction of the airport. And, many of the photos capture serene scenes like a bison standing in a snowy meadow, field of vibrant yellow sunflowers reaching the sky. One photo is a field of dead browning sunflowers and leaves people feeling unsettled. And again, is also like, is this a coded message about the apocalypse hidden in the airport's artwork? I mean, I will say it's probably like, yeah, look at all these like amazing things that used to be here, and now it's an airport.
Yeah. They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Yeah.
But that's it. I don't know. That's all I got for that series. But just again, it's like a weird photo of just like dead flowers.
Again,
it's kind of like what?
It is weird, and there are weird paintings, but it's too little to say that there is something concrete here. But I will say it's weird.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It is weird. It is weird. And it's really sad that there won't be sunflowers after the apocalypse. I was hoping that they would live at least.
Right.
But yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing Rebecca said afterward. I was like, yeah, he's actually saying that this is what you guys destroyed in the process.
Yeah, I think that's his hidden message for it. Yeah.
All right, 0 for this one.
I'm you know what? I'm gonna go with 2 just because it's so odd.
Yeah.
It's so out of place.
Yeah.
It is.
And again, I can't say more to it, so I'm just gonna give it a 2.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go with your 2. It's a little weird for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we got a last one. It's time. Let's talk about Big Blue. Right, 32-foot tall sculpture of the Blue Horse, titled Mustang, but is also called Lucifer. So people talk about him being frightening. They talk about his hair looking like Medusa. They'll say that he's a representative of one of the 4 horses of the apocalypse, and definitely a curse. Right, because as you mentioned, Pat, that Jimenez was killed as part of the creation of it, and I guess the piece was eventually completed by his children and unveiled in February of 2008. So, again, Jimenez himself said they were, again, like you said, honoring the spirit of the West, but others are definitely creeped out by the glowing eyes.
Well, the glowing eyes have its own history. So the glowing eyes are because his father actually had a neon light shop and he wanted to pay homage to him. So that's why.
But people say they shoot lasers. I don't know.
So here's the thing with that, though. There are a couple different versions of why he did the eyes. So what you said is just one version. The other version that, and he's actually interviewed about this too, is that he woke up one morning, or he woke up in the middle of the night, and he saw a pair of eyes in the darkness looking at him, and he realized it was actually his horse.
Yes, it was his own horse. Yes, came in.
His horse broke into his house. Whoa!
Yes,
his horse broke into the house. It somehow got in, and it was the reflections of the eyes from the light outside is the one is why he that's why he made the eyes orange. So it's really weird because I came across like 3 different versions of why he made the eyes like that. Another version is that it's to honor the wildness of the Midwest. That's another thing that he said as well. So,
yeah, it's definitely weird. It's definitely it's an odd option. I think I'll say for whatever he says as far as like this is what it's supposed to represent, it doesn't seem like that's what it represents to anyone that sees it. Everyone thinks it's creepy. They say it's smaller than you've been told. You know what I mean? Like your mind is picturing something, I think. But still,
you think 32 foot tall. Yeah, I saw Lucifer. I didn't know what it was at the time, but it is something to see. It's like,
was it disturbing?
No, it was cool. It was really interesting looking. It was shiny, so it was cool. I don't know. I thought it was all about the Broncos. I was like, okay, well, that's what they're going to do to celebrate them, I guess, But like O'Hare doesn't have a big bear in front of it. I don't know. And Midway doesn't either. So I don't get it. But if this was such a problem, the airport would have taken it down. But since then, they've embraced everything. And they love this. They love the lore behind it. And I love it too. It's awesome. And the idea of Lucifer, that sounds awesome. Like the 4 horsemen, I would not think it would be blue with red eyes. I think that one of the 4 horsemen would be like a dark color, but that's just what I've pictured in my head versus what I don't know, maybe reality is. His death, that's really sad. But people die in crazier things. So there's that 1,000 ways to die thing. So people, I've heard crazier stories. People dying in saunas and stuff like that. So no, I'm not gonna say that's supernatural. It's sad, but I'm gonna give this one a 1 because no, I'm gonna give it a 1 though, just to give it a point.
Okay. Jack, what do you think?
I'm gonna give it a 6.
Yeah,
6.
It's weird. It's so
wait. Are you gonna give it a 666 though?
Yes, actually. That's right. It's so out of place.
Yeah,
it doesn't really make any sense. There's a couple different versions, like I described earlier,
right?
And they're all told by the artist. So it just like there's something weird going on with that, and then he dies while making it. It's I don't know, man. There's something going on here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fall into the this statue is cursed. I mean, especially since nobody else died from it. But when you combine it with the rest of what's going on at the airport, it's just there's something spooky there,
Yeah. I'll give it a 5. Okay. Again, potential for weirdness for sure. So
so definitely high strangeness with this one. So all right. So do we want to do overall ratings?
Yeah, let's do an overall rating, and then we'll get to our closing stuff. So, Pat, what are you going to go with for your overall rating?
I'm going to go with 1 because I gave a couple 1s in there. So
okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 4. I might go 5, but okay. I'm gonna go 4 because I had a 0 in there.
You did your first 0 ever.
I did. Yeah. All right, Jack, how about for you?
Double down, Rebecca. Double down.
Yeah, right.
You know what? I'm gonna surprise you guys because I gave a lot of 0s and I gave a 2, but I'm gonna go with a 5 overall. And the reason is because everything combined, there's a lot of weirdness to the airport.
Yes.
Now, Pat, to your point, I know that the airport eventually embraced it. And if you look online, there's all these signs that's like, don't mind the construction. We're, doing construction for the underground civilization.
Yeah, I didn't say the lizard habitat or whatever.
Exactly. There's a lot of ads like that, and it's funny and stuff. But besides those ads, there was a time where the airport wasn't embracing it, and they did weird stuff. It's like, why did they put the gargoyles? It's like that. It just, it's bizarre.
Can you imagine being a little kid seeing that gargoyle too? Talking about the Illuminati. It's like, whoa,
the painting with the dead flowers. That's odd. And if that was just by itself, then I would say, whatever. I mean, I wouldn't really think much of it. But you take the paintings with the dead flowers, right? And then you take the apocalyptic imagery, right? And then so it's like, okay, that's a little. Why would you have that at an airport? Like, I understand that painting was created in the early 90s, and we had a different outlook on the world at that time, but it's still really weird for an airport. It doesn't make much sense. So now you have those two paintings, right? And now you have the gargoyles. And then you have all this space underground that doesn't make any sense. All of it is really weird. And also on the plaque for the that Freemason plaque that we talked about in the beginning, one of the quotes on there says like, in remembrance of peace and harmony in nature. And that's the same line that you see on the Georgia Guidestones. And for those that are not familiar, the Georgia Guidestones are these like large, very large tablets that were standing in Georgia that were like these apocalyptic tablets that talked about, what's going to be left in a post-apocalyptic world. So it's the same wording. So when you take all of this together, I'm not sure, right? I'm kind of leaning towards the team Pat here, but at the same time, it's just really bizarre, and I would want to learn more,
Yeah. I'm going to say that we take that as Jack's closing argument. Because I think you just stated that so well. Yeah. Oh, no, that's good.
It's okay. It's perfect.
It's perfect. Yeah.
So, Jack, would you want to visit on Denver Airport at some point?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I would definitely want to visit, and I would definitely talk to staff and see if I could get anything. I mean, if something was going on, obviously most of the staff are going to have no idea, right?
Right.
It's like the people at the upper echelon that have all the answers, but still, I would talk to the staff and try to get a feel for things, because you read a lot of reports that say, when I was at the airport, I just had feelings of dread. Now that could be people are very gullible. People are prone to psychological hysteria and things of that nature, but still, a lot of people are saying it, nevertheless, right? So I would want to get a feel for that place and see, what's going on there. Maybe try to bribe somebody to take me to the underground section, So
there you go.
See the lizard men. Well, actually, so maybe we should let you go at this point, because I know you have stuff you have to do. You have a tour to get to. Thank you so much for coming on, Jack. What do you have going on with you? I mean, what?
Yeah, what do you want to promote?
Oh gosh, I have a lot going on.
I know you do, especially this month. Yeah.
All the tours are booked, so I can't really.
That's all right.
That,
I'm just, if you guys want to follow me on Facebook, I'm at Paranormal Chicago, and I update it almost every day with articles and with things that I do, whether it's presentations or if it's tours I'm doing, things like that. And also, if you're on Instagram, it's paranormal.chicago. And you can see my face on there. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I really want to go to your vampire one, because I want to hear what you have to say about vampires.
We've never.
I know, but you're going to do it again, I'm sure, at some point, right? So next time, I want to be there for that, because I have not heard you talk about vampires. I still haven't gotten an answer of how you're a vampire slayer, and I want these answers. So I'm going to go just for that.
I just am. So, like,
you just are. Okay.
Right. That's true.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on and giving us all of your knowledge. You truly are the man that knows everything. And just so people know, we did not send Jack a script or anything like that. he is going off of his knowledge that he already has. Like when we were at this panel, I suddenly asked him about cryptids in that particular area, and he had like 5 of them that he knew. Things that I never even heard of, like the man in the sombrero and stuff like that. I don't even know what that is. That was a weird thing, and all of a sudden, you just had it. You had it. So
Well,
I really appreciate you, Jack.
Just like you guys, I have a passion for this subject, and I'm so glad that you guys had me on, and I thank you for that. The Denver airport is something I find really interesting. Even though I am in the skeptical side of it, I still find it really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go in any direction with the Denver airport. You could go into the alien section. You could go into the conspiracy category. People actually combine associate the Denver airport with the whole Columbine incident of 1999.
So that's a whole
other rabbit hole.
Jeez.
Gone down too, but probably a little bit morbid for the podcast. But so there's so much that you could do with the Denver airport. So I'm really glad that people are still keeping these stories alive and stuff there. So I'm so glad that you guys had me on to talk about it.
Awesome.
Thank you. And have a really good tour. We look forward to seeing you again soon, Jack.
Absolutely. I hope to see you guys soon. I'm sure I will, right?
Yes, we will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
All right. Good night.
Bye, guys. Take care. Have a good night.
Bye, Jack.
Thanks.
Okay. So we have some unfinished business to do now, Rebecca.
We do.
We have our closing arguments to give. This is our last chance to convince you to vote our way. We are each given 1 minute of uninterrupted time. We usually time each other on our cell phones, but because we're on this magical Zoom platform, I am going to bring out our spooky new equipment, which is a timer. So let me share my screen so you can see it.
All right.
And Rebecca, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. And go.
All right. So I do kind of agree with Jack that it's like individually, these things maybe don't seem, like you can really say anything, but when you put them all together, it's really, really weird. Like I'm sorry. I do think it's weird that there's, Mason imagery and that they were such a big part of this time capsule. To be that public seems weird to me. I do think it's weird to have all these tunnels, and that's again a lot of money, a lot of time, and to not have them have some sort of other purpose. And then seriously, who is commissioning the art for this place? And why were the artists drawn to do these apocalyptic big things? I don't know. It's all spooky.
All right. You had a couple seconds left there, Rebecca. Good job.
There you go.
All right. I'm going to time myself now. So
okay, you're ready?
Pat, are you ready? Yes, I am ready. Let's do this. All right. So unfortunately, I love this airport just because of how strange it is and because of how accepting they are of the strangeness. But would they really be accepting if there was lizard men in the basement? Would they really be as accepting if Lucifer goes out and kills people late at night? I don't think so. I think that proves right there that there's nothing going on there but a bunch of conspiracy theorists and a bunch of talk. And it's fun to talk. It's fun to have fun with it. Just remember, those are opinions. Those aren't necessarily facts. So as long as you state that, I'm all good with whatever you say. I unfortunately do not believe it's anything paranormal. All right. That was it. I want to thank everyone so much for listening. And again, I want to thank Jack. I mean, seriously, he came to one of our panels once. Now, I already knew who Jack was, but he came to one of our panels and he was shouting answers from the sideline. So we brought him on the podcast because, I mean, it's like he knew everything. He just knows everything. He doesn't have any preparation for this. And he just busted out. This isn't even Chicago. So you could say he knows everything about Chicago. He knows everything about Skinwalker Ranch. He knows everything about this. unless he's staying up late doing research for us, which I don't think he is. I think he just knows everything. So I want you to remember to hit that subscribe button. Yeah.
I was going to say, sorry, I was just going to say hit that subscribe button, but I just want to thank not only Jack, but all of our guests that we've had. And thank you all for listening this whole month for all of our airport episodes. So, thank you to Anthony. Thank you to Scott. Thank you to Nick. And definitely thank you to Jack. It's been really a fun month, and we hope that you have enjoyed listening to it.
Yeah. And let's give a shout out to our VIP producers, because without them, the show would not be the same. I'd like to shout out Andrew,
Alicia,
Becky,
Cindy,
Kevin,
Jessica,
Alice,
Aaron,
Hope,
and Candy.
And in the next episode, I'm just finding this out as well as you guys are. We are going to be talking about the Spy House in Jersey. And it comes out on November 13th. So we are going to take a week off.
Yes, we'll get back on our regular schedule.
Yeah. And then we do have a really special episode for the end of November. And then after that, we are taking December off.
So we're going to finish we're going to finish our ghostly year really strong, really strong. Creepy.
Yes. In fact, the last episode would probably be one of the creepiest episodes you will ever hear. And we have a guest for that one too. So
yes.
So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate everyone listening. And until next time, stay ghostly.
Bye.